Well, hello there, lovely people. How are you? I'm doing all right. But I got very excited the other day and I thought I'd make you a little video about shadow puppetry. I found one of these old puppets of mine. It's a Javanese shadow puppet. Look at that. It moves by using these little sticks and it's got pivots and it's made out of wood. I love it. But the Javanese puppet's a little bit complicated. You do use it against a screen and you're supposed to light up behind it so it's like creates a shadow, and that's the show that you watch. And they're very intricate and lovely puppets. But I thought I'd make my own sort of simplified version. And because it's a sort of I'm a bit of a lunar fanatic, if you like, I thought I'd make my journey to the moon. You know, because we can't really go anywhere right now. So why don't we imagine going somewhere fantastic and make a shadow puppet show out of it? Okay, so I've got some bits of card. You could use the back of a cereal packet if you want to make one along with me. Right, you can make your own journey or you can make a similar one to mine if you like. So we get a screen like this and we pop some stuff on it for a set, and then we make some puppets and we put a light on and do the show behind it, and people sit on the other side and watch the shadows. Right, so what I'll do is I'll show you how to make the puppets in a bit. Then I'll show you the behind the scenes of what you'll need to set your show off. And then I'll show you my little show. How about that? All right, let's go. Okay, so I've got an old sheet, I've got a lamp, I've got some masking tape, and for the puppets, I've got some card, some scissors, a marker pen, and some split pins. And what I did to make my screen is I just popped that old sheet across the bottom of my stairs, because as you can see, there's a beam on one side and there's a wall on the other, and then the audience sit on the stairs up there. Now, if you don't have stairs or you can't do it at the bottom of your stairs, you could pop your sheet between two chairs or under a big table. But what you've got to make sure is that it's quite tight and taut across the two places that you're going to stick it. So make sure it's stretched nice and tight. And then we'll make the puppets. Okay, so for my shadow puppet journey to the moon, I will need a few different sorts of shadow puppets. And I've got some drawn on these two sheets of paper. I've got a rocket ship, I've got a smaller version of the same rocket ship, I've got the moon, which is where I'm going, I've got a few stars to create a bit of atmosphere, I've got a little hatch here that fits over this little window on the rocket ship, so I can open a little flap and we can see what's inside the rocket. I've got a little flap or hatch here which fits over the moon, and there might be a little surprise in the moon as part of my little shadow puppet show. And then I've got little versions of myself. So I've got this little version here, and she's got an arm that moves. That's why it's separate, and I'll explain that in just a second. Okay, and then I've got a very, very tiny version of myself here. So this version of myself fits behind or inside of this little rocket ship here. And this version of myself fits behind or inside this rocket here. Now, I'm going to have to cut carefully around all these edges. Okay, so I'm going to do that in a second. But I also need to cut out these holes, and I need to make holes where these little X's are. And to do that, you need a bit of plasticine or a bit of sticky tack, and you need a very sharp pencil. Just be very careful or get an adult to help you. Okay, and then what happens is you make a little hole and you put one of these little split pins through it, and then you open the back of them once you've popped it through the two bits of paper, and you'll see that when you've popped them together and you've opened the little flaps on the split pin, it'll move. So that's really clever. So we get little moving parts. And again, just to cut the insides out of these, you'll have to make a little hole first, again with your little bit of tack and your pencil. And then you get your scissors in and you cut out the hole. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spend a bit of time cutting everything out, and then I'll show you how to pop the holes in and pop the pins in, and then I'll show you how everything moves, and then we can start setting up for our show. Okay? Alright, well I'm just going to cut these out now. Okay, so we've got all our bits cut out, all our puppets, and like I said, we need to make 2 holes here, 2 gaps basically in the middle of our puppets or our sets, as they can also be called, and we also need to make little holes where these crosses are. So what we need to do is very carefully get a bit of sticky tack, pop that very carefully over the top, and get a very sharp pencil. Just make a bit of space so I can show you. And then just pop your pencil in there like that. It doesn't need to be a massive hole. So I'll show you again on this little hatch. So you pop it over there like that, get your pencil right in the middle, just pop it through. There we go, as carefully as you can. So I'm just going to do the rest of these now. Everywhere there's a little X. And like I said, you don't have to use mine, but you can make a little Gran Going to the Moon puppet show, but you can also make your own little show with different puppets that you've drawn, but you just have to think very carefully about where you want them to move. So if you want the arms to move, for example, then you need to pivot or hinge or put the X basically where the arm meets the body so that it can then move. Can you see that? So once we've got a little split pin through there, that'll move nicely like that, you see? So if you do your own, just think very carefully about where to pop your little pivot points or your little split pins. Okay, so we've got holes in those, and then I just want to make a little hole in these two so I can get my scissors in and cut these out. So if I pop one in there and I pop one in there, there we go, pop those to one side, and then I can just get my scissors in and cut these little bits out. Now we're ready to pop our puppets together. So I'm just going to show you quickly here. So you just have your holes like that, and you pop your pin in through there, through that one, through the other one, and then you split the pin at the back and just gently fold it over like that, and then give it a bit of a wiggle. So there, like you can see, our little puppet Gran starts, oh, I start at this side, she starts to move. So I'm just going to do that on the rest of these now. Okay, so now we're ready to set up for the show. Oh God, oh that's quite hard. Oh, here we go. Well, if I'm going to go to the moon, I'm going to have to get inside this rocket ship here. Okay, so in we get. Oh, and then sit down. Oh, sit down. And then shut this window. Like so. Engine's on. Lift off! out here. Oh, but it's a bit cold. Oh, I'm getting back in. Oh, oh, oh. 3, 2, 1.
Bye. Yeah.
Well, we did the show! Yay! Did it! I did it! My journey to the moon, and it was brilliant! So, if you want to have a go at doing your journey to the moon, or even your journey to anywhere where you can imagine, then you have a go, get some card, get some bits and bobs together, and do it yourself. Have a try, go on!